Evening, command staff.
Good evening. Hello.
Okay, Madam Mayor, we'll be live in 3, 2.
Good evening and welcome to the continued discussion of our budget for the City of College Park. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. We have a quorum with council members Allen, Clay, and Taylor present. It is 6:31. I'm calling this meeting to order. We're going to be talking about policing for the most part this evening. And Ms. Miller, if you will get us started.
Good evening, everyone. We are about to start. I think we have one more budget after this, so we're excited to listen to the police department because this involves the safety of our citizens. So we're ready to get started.
All right, our first item up is police administration. So fielding questions for that portion of the budget at this time.
I have a question on on Digital 5. Digital 5, which is page 1 of 3 of the police administration. And actually, I have a couple questions. We have a salary part-time was $36,000 in the amended budget. Its actual was 5. And now it's jumping up to 40. If you linearized it, it would be about 8K. So what does this mean that it's coming back to 40K?
Those numbers are coming from HR, but realistically, I think you're right, Councilman, it is close to 8K. I don't know where those numbers came from for that 40,000. They were submitted by HR.
Okay, and by the way, welcome back.
Thanks, Councilman. I didn't know y'all were going to work me this hard.
Yeah, hey, we're all working pretty hard these days. Okay. Well, my next question was going to be overall personnel services, but that explains it, that one as well. So that's all I had on that page.
All right, any other questions on that page?
Not page 1, no.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move to page 2 then.
I got a question on training. You've got $9,400 for training, and my mind tells me that should probably be a little bit more for training for those people. I know there's not that many, in administration, but I would think that training would be a little bit higher. I'm not sure.
Right now, I think that's a realistic number. We can even be a little bit lower on that. We were just talking about that. Just with the administrative, we're looking at somewhere around 7,000 we can get by with all the training for the administrative staff.
Okay, I thought it would be a little bit higher, but hey, if you can do it for 7,000, that's some extra
I
money.
think that's more of a realistic number when we look at what we need to get done.
Okay.
It's at 9,400 right now. Does 7,500 make sense? Based upon the 2020 actual amount of 7,000 and change.
It does, if you look under the transactions and what some of those are. For instance, for some reason, chaplain training was way up there, and it's not that expensive for the chaplain training.
Okay. I think I'm hearing a television or something like that. If someone can mute that, that'd be great. Thank you. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah. Yes, Mayor, I have one notation. The insurance is up, obviously. We've already talked about
Across
that.
the board, yeah.
But the one thing I would add is that I think the largest source of accidents that we have had driving our insurance is in the police department. And so my question would be, how soon are we going to be able to reinitiate driver training? I believe that was suspended. I think someone said that a couple meetings ago. Is that going to come back anytime soon?
That's a good question, Councilman, and I am not sure. I know we still have the simulator here, the one simulator that we've been using, but with the academy basically shut down for sending them for the training, I don't have an answer for that, but I will get you one.
Well, Chief, we have a arrangement with, I think it's Safe America. Is it Safe America? I can't remember the name of the company.
I believe that's correct.
And they gave us a simulator, or we're paying for a simulator, I guess. And they are also I thought, doing some on-site training as well. So that's something you might want to look into, how soon we can get that in place, because the insurance is going to eat us alive.
I agree with you there.
And then there's another line item down there, 526170, which is contractual services. And that one, I would linearize it out to 160K. And I don't remember whether I went back and marked that up or not. Why is that so high compared to what we've spent?
I think that is incorporating, looking at all the, the different areas we have. I haven't had a chance to compare it to last year, but I think one of them is dealing with the new replacement of a system that will get all the cameras, cars, and body cams together, which I think is under the records management. I know
it's on digital page. Whoever's scrolling, it starts on digital page 9 and goes to digital page 10. All the contractual services.
Right, and the body camera storage. If you want to go to that page, line 526170 talks about body camera storage, and it talks about dark fiber.
You're asking all the questions that I have, Councilman Clay.
That makes no sense at all. Dark fiber doesn't do anything.
I'm not familiar, and I'm assuming that came from IT.
Ms. Miller, is Mr. Hicks available? I think he might be able. Okay, he might be able to shed a little bit of light on some of these tech issues.
Because I know I sat down with him 2 days ago, and he was explaining to me, because I know a lot of the stuff was moved from the police department to IT, and he was explaining to me, and to be honest with you, it was a little bit over my head about, the fiber for it. But
I can tell you, I can help a little with that, because I know are we still using Virtual Citadel for body camera storage, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there was associated with that, there was fiber link to Virtual Citadel, but that link is in place. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's for the storage of the body cameras. And I'm guessing that's what it is. And at one time it was combined with dark fiber, which is no longer dark. And that probably makes sense. If that's Virtual Citadel, that probably makes sense. So I'm good on that.
Okay, Mr. Hicks will be getting on the phone shortly, but he said the dark fiber is the V Citadel going back to Garby Road. Going back to Garby Road.
All right.
Okay. Yep, that's what I thought.
So back in the 1920 fiscal year, we spent about $345,000 on contractual services. again, I guess I'm going to reiterate Councilman Clay's question because I don't know why we spent so little this year. Can anyone shed any light on that?
I received a couple documents from IT from Mike Whittle, who actually works for Mr. Hicks.
Mhm.
And recently he submitted something that was coming up in contract that was close to 440,000 for, I believe it was the camera system and contractual services. So I don't know an answer to that question.
Ms. Fleur Bradley, any idea?
I'm sorry, what was that question?
I was asking Ms. Floyd Bradley if she knew, if she had any sense of it.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was the question?
The question was on line item 526170. It's on
Yes, I'm here.
digital page 6.
Yeah, I'm there.
Well, yeah, okay. Just overall, we've spent $115,000. We've only used 25% of the funds allocated to that line item. Do we have a sense of why we aren't using that money right now?
I'm not sure. I would have to dig into the detail to figure out why, but I'm not sure. I would have, let me look while you all are discussing the budget and I'll get back with you. Give me a second.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
we need, Mayor, we need to zero in on this because
Mhm.
most of the things on this list, I would think would be ongoing regardless of what year it was.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I think you're homing in on the same thing. So something just doesn't drive there. Either we spent more than we think we're spending, or some of these things have been discontinued.
Maybe we're not, maybe as of March 19th, some of the billing hadn't been caught up. I don't know, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, we
let's-
violently agree. It doesn't make any sense.
And Ms. Floyd Bradley, when you get the answer, just feel free to chime in and we'll keep on moving forward and answer any other questions in regard to police administration.
Okay.
Are there any other questions in regard to police administration?
Not for me.
Okay.
Oh,
Good.
All right. Well, we will go ahead and move on to police investigations. And the budget worksheet starts on digital page 30. I've got to imagine that looking at everything, looking at all of the other budgets, a 25% decrease in telephone had to go somewhere else because it hasn't gone down anywhere else. And that's line 5240. I just have to imagine it's been being absorbed elsewhere based upon what we've been seeing throughout the budgets.
Yeah, I think I assumed the same thing, Mayor.
And I know there's some new phone systems, and it was my understanding that IT is handling the phone systems now. And it's share cost between the police department and IT.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
that
it's
makes
probably an allocation issue,
Mhm.
would be my guess.
because it hasn't gone down anywhere else. I don't know if you've watched the first few episodes of this budget, but it hasn't gone down anywhere else. So
We're good.
I wish it went down 25% everywhere else. That'd be great.
Well, maybe police is happy because someone else is picking up their
That's
share.
right.
Right. There you go. That's right.
Somebody else is picking up their tab.
All right.
We would have to see what it looks like in police patrol. Because that's probably, if it went down here, it probably went up in police patrol.
Fair enough. All right. So on police investigations,
Moving on.
I'm hearing silence there. So We
I'm
will
good.
we will continue to move forward.
Can I cover a couple things in investigations?
Yes, sir.
When we start looking at, there's some realistic numbers on 52-6.
What page,
One.
Chief?
That'll be on second page.
Okay.
What page?
That's digital page 31.
Page 2 or 3.
Okay. Digital page 31.
A realistic number for special operations instead of 3,500 would be $1,900.
Good.
And also on
Do
the
we want-
bottom of that page at 54, 7620 office equipment replaced, where it says 6,500. We've already purchased that recently. It's a drying machine for evidence.
So we don't have to spend that 6,500 again? We can zero that out?
Yes, we've already purchased that.
Oh, okay.
So we just found $9,000?
Yes.
I think that's what he's telling us.
Mayor, may I interject?
Yes, ma'am.
The police budget capital will go down, will be decreased by $1 million because we're reducing the car rental tax funds by $1 million, and that was going to fund the police equipment. If things change towards the end of fiscal year 2022, I'm sorry, calendar year 2021, when we receive our car rental tax payment from the city of Atlanta, we'll revisit purchasing the equipment at that time. But as for the budget purpose, we will reduce their capital budget by $1 million.
What
Where
line-
are you? Are you talking about
Police overall,
the
police department, the division overall, we're going to reduce their capital budget by $1 million.
capital budget, though?
Yes.
That's not in regard to the question that I asked, though, right?
No,
Okay,
I just wanted to put
okay.
it out there.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. So,
Still on your question.
thank you. All righty. So 52, 60, 41 went down to 1,900. 54, 76, 20 went down to 6,500.
Went down to 0.
I'm sorry.
Zero.
Thank you. Thank you.
Unmute
That's-
Mr. Hicks.
I'm sorry. Ms. Miller?
Ms.
What'd you say?
Bradley, will you please unmute Mr. Hicks? He's on the line.
Okay, I have to let him in. Hold on. Mr. Hicks, you can unmute yourself. There you go. Exit unmute. There you go.
Mr. Hicks?
Hello. Yeah.
Good evening. How are you?
Doing fine. How's everybody?
Doing well. We just wanted to get a little bit of context
Yes, ma'am.
in regard to some questions regarding police administration.
Okay.
There are some contractual services. I don't know that you need the line number. It sounds like you're just on the phone and probably don't have it in front of you, but
Right.
it includes body camera data storage, body camera service agreement, Central Square records
Yeah.
agreement, lots of tech related items.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the question that we have is that thus far in the current fiscal year, we've only spent about 25% of the allocated funds for that line item. We spent about $115,000, almost 116. 455,000 was allocated for those contractual services, and we're having a little trouble understanding why it has gone, why we haven't spent the money that was allocated, because these line items seem like they would be ones that we would have continually. Can you shed any light on that?
Yes, ma'am. I can. the actual fiber cost. We just now got the billing straight with the company that used to be called V Citadel. They're now called Atlanta Data Center. They were billing us incorrectly. They were billing me for all of the fiber throughout the city. Now the police department are getting their own charges for the 10 gig fiber that goes from public safety back to V Citadel. And Central Square is just another form of technology that they use over there in the police department. So I think they put 400 and some thousand in their budget originally because those are prices that we got from V Citadel until we got those prices fixed. So I'm not sure if the former chief are paying those invoices now, but I know that we're getting ours on a monthly basis from what is now.
So this is essentially an allocation issue that
Yes, ma'am.
the billing is going in the wrong place, but the money is being spent. It's just not reflected in that line item.
Yes, and so what happens is the current chief got to look and make sure he's receiving those invoices because the fiber in City Hall, we're certainly receiving ours every month.
Yeah, we would prefer, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
I was going to say, let me add a little more clarity. There's two sets of fiber. There's one going in the City Hall that I paid for, and there's a 10 gig pipe over in public safety that's going back to Atlanta Data Center that the police department paid for because their body cam software is located at that data center. And so all of their body cam software is being backed up at that data center going across that fiber.
But you were getting the bill for everything?
Yes, until we got the bill straight. And now the police department should be getting their own, and we're getting our own monthly from what is now called Atlanta Data Center.
Okay, Michael, the one thing that needs to be corrected in the police budget, it's declaring that on line 526170 as being body camera data storage, dark fiber. That fiber ain't dark.
No, it's not dark. It's lit.
Yeah, it's lit fiber. So if you want to change dark to lit, you can.
Okay.
But there's a whole, Michael, there's a whole bunch of other things under 526170 that add up to a fair amount of money. And I don't understand how they could not be in place in the previous budget year. For example, Central Square Records Management. That technology, I assume, was in place last year, probably.
Yes, sir.
So
that should be an ongoing cost.
Yeah, and so what I don't understand and what the mayor doesn't understand is why these costs weren't there, like the Motorola service agreement. That's in here. Certainly the Motorola service agreement, that's in for $56,000. One would expect that to be in place. I gotta believe,
remember,
we've got Fulton County. I just jumped a page here.
Radio subscription? Is that what you're talking about?
Hold on a minute. Let me find it again. Yeah, the radio subscription was $99,000. I can't believe that wasn't in place last year.
Yeah, so about a year and a half ago, the police department and the fire department signed an agreement with Motorola. But here's the unfortunate part. They've got two separate agreements. It's not an enterprise umbrella agreement. The fire department has their own and the police has their own. Mercedes and Althea, if you can remember when we had a committee together to look at all of our budgets, we were talking about looking at that contract to see if we can get it all under one umbrella. But I don't think that ever happened.
I think that, I mean, we talked about it with copiers.
Yeah.
Certainly, there are opportunities there for us to leverage our buying power to get better better deals on these things.
Yes, ma'am.
So
It is.
I'm just suggesting, Mayor, that we ask staff to take a look at this line item
Mhm.
and see, at least identify what all the new items are
Mhm.
that weren't there before. And if you can't identify any items that are new, then either the old numbers are wrong or the new numbers are wrong.
My gut tells me that things are getting allocated elsewhere. We haven't stopped paying. We haven't stopped using these services. So
Right.
As far as so I'm looking through what's been spent thus far, what we paid out, and one of the items you called out was the agreement with Fulton County. That's about 99,000. I don't see a monthly charge for that. I don't see that actually at all. So I would have to look into the vendor file to dig into that a little deeper to see if we are paying that elsewhere. And the Central Square Records Management, is that who we're paying ATL data? Is that who we're paying for that service, Mike?
No. ATL data is the former V Citadel.
I understand that, but so we're paying them for the body camera service agreement?
Yes.
Okay, I do show that.
Body.
Yeah, I do show that it's being paid, but it's at $5,600 a month. So I think that is more than we're showing at this point. We're only showing 16,000. So this definitely needs to be reviewed again. And
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
can we backtrack for a second? Because is V Citadel doing both? They're not doing the service agreement and the storage. They're doing the storage, not the service on the actual body cameras, right? That seems outside of their wheelhouse.
I think that they meant storage on that, right, Mike? No?
Storage is a separate line item. It's the one up top on the this is the last one on the previous page, on page 9.
Okay.
Yeah, V Citadel is doing the storage.
Okay, so that makes more sense.
The actual body cam is from a company called Revere, and I'm not sure if the police has that in their line item or not. I'm not sure. But here's what I don't mind doing. If I don't mind getting together with Chief Kuznacki and we look at everything that's in question and we give you guys an answer tomorrow, I don't mind doing that.
If you can take a look at the screen, this is what I pulled up for that account as far as like what's been paid out.
Okay.
Does that also tell us how we're being billed, whether it's monthly, quarterly, yearly, and the billing date? Because that would help us knowing that if we're paying this monthly or quarterly, because our officer Whittle, who works for Michael, has come, with a couple of things saying we're trying to combine this and that. And
staff should have the ability to look up the vendors that you're paying and pull those invoices, because every single invoice that is paid is also scanned into the system. So your staff should be able to go into the vendor file and pull each of these invoices to determine how they're being paid, whether it's monthly, bi-weekly, or quarterly. So you should be able to pull that information.
Yeah.
And I can send you this detailed report so that you would have an idea what's been paid thus far.
Yeah.
Okay, my question would be, are we signing off on it? Because I haven't
You would sign off on every single one. You probably haven't signed off on, you just, you came on board about a week ago, so you probably haven't signed these as of yet. But
Okay.
you would sign off on every single last one of these
Okay.
for payment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Chief Kuznacki, I'll get with my IT guy, Mike, and we'll get together with you and we can resolve this easily.
Okay. We will.
All right.
Sounds like that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I think we were at police patrol, correct?
What digital page, Mayor?
I believe it starts on, the org chart is on page 53. The worksheet starts on digital page 55.
I had a question about R&M vehicles, 5,700, and I know a lot of it is the Moody's annual fee of 26,000. Is that every year we have that same fee for them? Does it adjust, or is that paid monthly, or how does that go? Because we've already paid 27,900, and if you linear that out, that's going to be very high. I don't know if we pay that in advance, sir.
What line item are you on?
I'm on
5,700.
5,700.
Councilman
that's
Allen, I think that's a monthly allocation that we pay to Moody's. That's by the contract, and then any additional services outside of the contract that's performed on those vehicles, we pay as well.
So we've already spent 27,900, and
You said 27,000?
I don't know what you're looking at.
Wait a minute.
I see a whole different.
You mean
set of numbers.
$125,803.90? Are you under police patrol?
I'm under police investigation, sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to go back to police investigations?
Yeah, I just don't know how that number is, it shows we're already spending on police investigation 27,957. And if you linear that out, she says it's paid monthly, that would be very high. And of course, now we're saying 29, which is high. And those numbers just seem a little bit off to me.
This is digital page 30.
What does it say in the actual column, Ken?
It says in Moody's annual fee of 26,000 plus vehicle parts and maintenance, 3,000.
If you look at 2020, it was at 22,000.
Right.
And what it looks like is if something, because there's a monthly fee, but anything outside of the contract, basically we pay in addition to is the monthly allocation is for maintenance of the vehicles. Now, if there's something improvement that needs to be done outside of the contract, so it varies from year to year what it may be depending on what happens to the vehicle. If there's an accident, we have to repair it. I don't know really what took place. So
And we
would have to dig into the
accidents this year, so I figured that's what it was.
Probably just some repairs that had to be made outside of the contract. So it took it up a little bit.
Yeah, at the
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Would you like? Would you like?
Councilman Allen, give Mr. Hicks was trying to
I
get in there a little bit.
I was going to say, at the end, would you like for me to see, can we pull the information from Square Rigger on that, or you're okay?
I'm okay because Willis can pull it.
Okay, got it.
All right,
I'm sorry, Councilman Allen, go right ahead.
No, I'm okay on that. It just I didn't know if the Moody's contract was paid monthly, and if it's paid monthly and we've already paid 27,000, we've got a couple more months to go. So that's going to be a lot higher. And I didn't know if it was basically due to all the accidents that we have had this year.
I can get back with you on it, Councilman Allen, if you would like a answer to that.
Yeah, I just didn't know why it was going up. It's not a big issue. I just was curious.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions in police investigations?
Not a question, Mayor, but I looked at the detail on this, and the Moody's allocated is coming in at 107,144 for the whole year. That's it, the year.
I'm sorry.
Under police investigations or
Under investigations or patrol?
Digital page 58.
Patrol
Okay,
then.
patrol.
Okay. Hold on. We're jumping around a little bit.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Are there any other questions in police investigation? All right. Let's go ahead and move to police patrol. You said digital page 58, Councilman Clay. Is that correct?
Yeah, digital page 58.
Okay.
The Moody's the Moody's allocated in the detail is 107,144
Correct.
for the whole year, which sounds reasonable.
Yes, and then there's another 115 for any other major repairs that may need to take place.
Right.
So essentially, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Which is high for the reason that Councilman Ellen said, because of all the accidents, I'm sure.
What was that actual so far? We're at 52, 5,700.
Go back to 55.
That is, yes, 55.
We're at 125.
125. So
yeah,
it's actually fairly in line.
Mhm.
Yep.
It'd be great if we could work on the defensive driving and getting that, if we could, if we could have a conversation this time next year that we've come under because folks haven't gotten into as many accidents. Unfortunately, it just looks like we planned for this.
Well, we had a number of new patrolmen come on as well. So there's an experience issue there as well. And that's why we need the training.
We can go to electric cars, then we can slow them down a lot. Just kidding.
I have a question on, make sure we're on the right one. Police patrol, when you talk about salaries, the recommended 4,333,000, is that based on a full complement?
Yes, sir, I believe so. Those numbers are submitted by HR, but is that full?
Okay.
Ms. Fleur Bradley, can you confirm that?
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
had
sound
to
right.
adjust my headphones. I heard something about salaries and 33,000. Where are we?
We are on line 515010.
Okay.
Digital page 55.
Yes. And the question.
The $4.3 million recommendation, is that the full?
No.
Okay.
I did send out the report that shows how many positions are vacant, how many positions are budgeted at 100%, and how many positions are budgeted at 100%, how many positions are budgeted for half the year, and how many positions are unfunded. So this number does not represent 100% full staff.
When did you send that, Althea?
Oh, I sent that last.
That was last Wednesday.
Yes, I got that last one.
Yep, pulling it up now. So.
And I did submit it. I don't believe the new chief has a copy because it was submitted, but deputy chief should have a copy, I think.
So you got 9 positions that are unfunded. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Based on the report, yes.
Right.
So those numbers are on -9 positions.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And
You have a lot of
minus,
confidence in us to fill in those positions, and that's good.
We sure do. All right. Any other questions on this page, digital page 55?
R&M communications seems awful high. It went up to 51.
there's their increase.
That is for a large percentage of that 34,000 is for the new vehicles, the Wi-Fi routers that go into the vehicles.
Right.
There's 11 at 3,100 a piece, and that comes up to 34,100. So these are for the new patrol vehicles that we've put in place, the Durangos.
So
Okay.
essentially, once it's in, well, we'll probably need more communication equipment the year after, but we won't see a continuing expense on this once it's in the vehicle. Is that fair?
Yes.
We shouldn't. Those are the new routers that allow us to connect in both the body cameras and the everything in through that one router, as I recall.
Correct.
Yeah. So that I can't see why we'd have to switch them out unless they're defective.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any
Well,
other
I have
questions?
Mayor, I have a request.
Yes, sir.
Althea, could you please send that report again? I have been having a problem getting things that are distributed to mayor and council. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. And it depends on what distribution list you're using. And this one I may have missed, but usually I get your communication, but can't find having gotten that report. And that's one I asked
Send it
for.
right now. Yes, sir, it is. I should have known. I didn't hear from you, so I should have known.
Yeah, that should have been a clue.
Yes.
Do we
I'll
have,
send it to you, that.
do we have a number of how many new police cars we're getting for all departments? I see some for one department and a few for another, and like 10 for this one. Do we have a total number? How many new police cars we're going to be getting this year? How many going to be adding?
It should be in the detail, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's in the detail for this, 10 new cars, and then one vehicle for code enforcement, but it's also in some of the others. And I didn't know if we had a total number that we were looking at.
We can pull that. Because we do have a capital outlay form, but I do not believe it lists the number of vehicles we plan to purchase, but we'll get it together for you.
I think it's around, I think it's under 30, if I remember rightly. But there were a lot. And there were something like 11 take-home vehicles, I think, that were brand new.
10, I think, right here. Yeah, and one in another. Will that give us enough take-home vehicles for everybody, or how short will we be?
No, it would not, but we are looking at that because that may be a retention issue, that something in the near future, we can bring something to you. But we will look at it. I'll get that back to you with that number for the total amount of cars.
Yeah, it's just,
Right.
just curious. Yeah, I'd like to see. And I'd like to, I'd like to
Hold
know
on,
how
hold
many
on.
short we are for take-home vehicles. Like, I think it is a retention issue. And if we know we're 2 or 3 short, or if we're 20 short, that's a pretty big, I don't know.
Yeah, we are currently working on a proposal, or at least an outline, that would give y'all something to look at to see this is what we would need for take-home vehicles for every office.
Great.
I would hope, though, that we are not issuing brand new vehicles to brand new patrolmen who are having accidents and have not had a lot of training. I would hope that we are giving the new takeout vehicles, just my own personal opinion, to people that are experienced and are not likely to crash them.
Yeah, you are correct. We're in the same line of thinking.
All right. Any other questions in police patrol? I know it's a big one. So
I have a couple give backs if you want them.
Chief, I'm just not used to this.
52, 60, 41 special operations.
Mhm.
Realistically, we're around 13,450.
Can you explain what happened there? Because special ops spent almost 25,000 in 2020, and then it dropped precipitously in 21.
Mm-hmm. And there were some things that they were looking to replace. What are the things that we took out? We took out the extra ballistic vest.
I don't know that. Tell me why you don't need those.
These are special operations for like SWAT. They're not for.
Sure. But tell me, I mean, this is digital page 59, the breakdown of that. Tell me. You have Major Ward, I think I hear you talking. Do we have more vests than special ops folks? Is that what I'm hearing?
Until we get the unit built back up, we have enough on hand that will support what we need.
Okay.
For instance, we have headsets, we have this equipment that doesn't need to be purchased right now. And we have enough to, as a matter of fact, with our special operations, we're looking at a proposal to combine with South Metro, which has, instead of us just having one SWAT team, we're looking at combining with South Metro, which will combine all the agencies on the south side for a SWAT call out. Because we are currently down to four SWAT officers.
Okay. Are we initiating that discusussion, or is that coming from somewhere else?
We're looking into I'm trying to receive a contractual agreement so I can present it to city officials to see if this is something that would benefit us, which we think would.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure that when they do go out, they're adequately protected with everything they need.
I'm former SWAT mayor. Under my command, they will.
All right.
Do you have any contingency money that we could use if we needed to jump into some of that?
Yes, we have drug funds.
Okay.
All right. So that 30,950 goes to what number? I'm sorry, Chief.
It go to 13,450. Realistically.
Okay. You want to just say 13.5? Just in case. I mean, you have more?
Yeah, we have a little bit.
Okay.
Under medical service supplies, 53,770.50.
Yes, sir.
That number, the 1930 is, or 19,300. And realistically, we can get away with about 9,000 on that.
What do we get less of? I'm looking at digital page 61 with the specifics of that line item.
It would have been 19,300.
Yeah, for instance, like the renewal physical exams, alcohol, drug kits.
We have extra trauma kits.
Yeah, we have plenty of trauma kits now in stock, like tourniquets for the officers. So we have a lot of these items in stock, but I think they were just asked for repetitively. But if the city wants to save a little money, we're going to be good there.
Okay.
Excellent.
Chief, if you keep this up, that you might be able to get another car.
Exactly right. That's where I'm thinking.
I mean, these are several $1,000s per line item every time you speak up. I
Just want to reiterate, I don't mean to rain on anybody's parade that will be
But
reduced.
Ms. Fullord Bradley, that's why you're
Okay.
here. That's why you're
Okay.
here. Just keep rain on our parade. Go ahead.
Sorry.
$1 million.
Okay, I know. And this is an aside, and it's related to a conversation that we had earlier in our budget discussions about us rolling over our discretionary funds. But given
We need not to do that.
yeah, that
I agree. Since it was my original suggestion, I will retract it.
I
We
think
need to save every penny everywhere.
especially given our conversation with Mr. Wall and where we are in $1 million cut on capital expenses for our police. I think if the body is in agreement on that.
I'm good with it. I only proposed it, but I'm only one vote.
Good with it?
Councilman Gay, Councilman Taylor?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay with it.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I did want to bring that up. So, all right. So, okay, Chief, any more?
That's it for this one.
Oh, okay. All right.
You can give a little bit more, but just kidding.
All right. Does anyone have any additional questions in the area of police patrol?
Well,
All
I
right.
agree with you. If we can cut items down, we might be able to get another car.
Or take a car away from the $1 million, save a car, that's
Right,
Yes.
right, right.
whatever.
All right. So we are moving from police patrol to corrections. That starts on digital page 112 with the org chart. The budget worksheet begins on digital page 114.
I'm good.
Any questions here? Boy, that insurance is just.
Yeah, insurance was what I highlighted, but
Mhm.
that's the only thing I had on there.
Okay. Any other-
Contractual services were way down actual this year. I noticed that.
Is that because we're putting, well, it's a contract with East Point, so.
Yeah.
We're getting a new jail van. Is that true? I think that's true.
Yeah.
Sir.
So they were contractual services. So is that, how does the contract with East Point work? Is it a per inmate?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Per day,
so are we sending fewer people to East Point, which resulted in fewer charges?
yes. Yeah, because of COVID.
Sure. Mhm. Makes sense. Any other questions for corrections? Hearing none, let's move to the municipal court. That starts on digital page 133 with the org chart, and the worksheet begins on digital page 135.
Salary part-time, you show it at 117,000. It was 80,000 in 2020, 19,000 right now. Till we linear it out. But is that because we're trying to catch up, or what is that? Salary part-time.
Is that because the court's been closed?
Well, we had some part-time positions where we lost personnel, and then those positions were frozen. We didn't rehire for them yet.
All right. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. E911. That's the budget worksheet starts on digital page 152.
I had a question on the detail on digital 182, line 52, 57, 20, communication equipment.
182,
got-
you said? I'm sorry.
Pardon?
What digital page again? I'm sorry.
153,
Thank you.
153.
Okay.
And line 52, 57, 20. We spent 1,000 this year, and next year we're spending 13,820, which is 1,000 and some percent.
And I think the big hit on that was the fiber connection, the Fulton County radio system, along with some replacement of base stations for the 911 or headsets.
Okay, that's right. I see it in the detail now on page 156.
I've got a question on the revenue. You show operating transfers in 579,000. Where's that going to transfer from?
General fund.
The general fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, E911 never pays for itself.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say pays for itself, but its source of internal revenue doesn't nearly cut it.
No.
Okay.
Got $508 from the CARES Act. grant. I'm assuming we spent that all in one place. Any other questions on E911?
Nope.
All right. We will move to confiscated drugs. Any questions there? That's pretty
None.
straightforward. All right. State drugs.
Yeah, I've got one on state drugs on the budget carry forward.
That was my question as well. That is page 173. Or, well, it's the line items on
39,900.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't recall that we had any surplus in that area. So
You do. At the end of the year, I believe this fund had about 130, 140. We couldn't fund all their equipment. So the police chief was purchasing new equipment because you can't use the state funds to replace equipment, but you can use it for new equipment. So we decided to take some of the funds that were available there to purchase new equipment with. But they do have a carry forward from the prior year. It's about 135, 40,000.
I'm a little
Okay.
confused. You can't purchase replacement equipment.
Not
So
with
if
these
something,
funds.
but you can buy new equipment.
When I say new equipment, something you haven't had in your inventory prior to the purchase. So you
I
can-
understand.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna say if it breaks and you buy something new, but no. Okay,
No,
I got it.
can't
Thank you.
see subplant. Yeah, no.
Okay.
they want you to expand your capability,
Exactly.
not
Got it.
maintain it.
Which just seems a little counterintuitive,
Strange.
doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah, a little
shouldn't-
bit.
I mean, but anyway.
I think the idea is it's just the same way you couldn't budget for state drug funds. You can put a revenue in there. You can only use budget carry forward because they don't want you to. I guess this the perception as far as okay, I'm going to budget for $100,000 and I'm going to go do some bug dress. I mean, excuse
Drug
me.
bust.
Drug
Yes.
bust. we got you.
Tongue-tied. Drug bust to meet my budget, so that's the whole idea behind that. So you have to use only what's available, not what you think you'll get, project you'll receive.
That's
They're
that's
very
fair.
good about telling us if we request something that, no, it's not gonna cut it. So
Mhm.
they're good about saying, no, you cannot use the funds for this. particular
Also,
item.
you don't want to be dependent on it, I guess. That's
Exactly.
drugs and dependency seem to go together, but you could become dependent on maintaining your police force with
Exactly.
the drug money.
It's making more sense to me now. Thank you.
I've got a question, Mayor, on digital page 175.
All right.
Right down near the bottom line, 547630. Have we really checked with the FAA on having drones?
I did ask that question of the
Mhm.
police chief, and he said that they could at a certain level, and they would get approval from the FAA before they took them up, because they actually asked for 4, and we cut it down to 2. But I had the same question.
Well,
But he said yes.
you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to keep saying it. Planes fly over Main Street at 200 feet. Drones normally are cleared up to either 400 or 500 feet, and that's it. If you fly a drone down Main Street at the wrong time when planes are landing to the east at 200 feet, it will run into an aircraft. High probability, well, not high probability, but it could. So we really, I don't see how you're going to interact with the tower and say, I'm chasing somebody down Main Street. And, oh yeah, do you have any planes landing right now? Oh yeah, he's about a mile out. Okay, well, we'll hold the drone until he passes.
We had that conversation, Councilman, earlier when we were reviewing this. And before we would buy the drones, we'd have to have a good justification for them and a use for them. sometimes we buy new toys and we think they'd be great, and we don't take those kind of things into consideration.
Now, having said that, we've got real estate agents that are going around College Park flying drones,
Yep.
taking pictures of houses. They just did it next door to me a couple days ago. They're not flying very high, maybe 50, 75 feet. But we just have to be careful. I don't want to get us into a liability situation.
Yes, sir.
And I was thinking about it in terms of, if we have a standoff or something, to
Right.
be able to have a better, heaven forbid, but, just to have a better view of a particular building.
Oh, I think perfect for that.
Right. I see where things could absolutely go wrong if they're used to track someone who's moving and going into airspace that is potentially occupied by commercial flight travel. But
It'd be perfect for a SWAT situation.
sure, that's what I was thinking. Yes, thank you for encapsulating that.
And maybe with this new agreement between the Metro SWAT, I'm sure Fulton County or maybe South Fulton, maybe that equipment is already in place too, so.
Good point.
So if that comes together and that equipment is already there, that might be $24,000 that sits there because we can't use it for other stuff because it's state drug funds. Okay. All right. So we already have cars, so we can't buy another car with the state drug funds, right? All right. No. Okay. Any other questions on the state drug fund?
Nope.
Hearing none. Let's move to hospitality. And let me, before we move to hospitality, thank the entire command squad. You've basically been the stars of the show tonight. We appreciate all of your thorough work on this, and thank you for everything that you do for our city.
Every day.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, guys. Thanks again.
All right, hospitality fund.
First thing that jumps out to me is the interest on penalties.
All right.
We got 64,000.
Where are you?
Yes, that was from a hotel that hadn't paid their their taxes, hotel motel tax for, I believe it was about over a year. And they finally, I believe, sold the hotel. So we charged them the interest as well. So that's why you see a large amount.
Oh, okay.
Well, good.
I like that.
And they did pay it in full.
Good.
Well, this is just all the previous transfers that we've talked about,
Right.
both in the funds flow spreadsheet and in the overview that we did the other night.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yep. Any other
So,
questions?
No,
I mean, we've already covered it. All right. Car rental. This one's going to be, we've already discussed this one as well.
Yep.
But any questions about the information presented?
no.
No, but could we get I don't know. I guess we're getting it with our breakdown. Are we planning on doing a breakdown quarterly? Like we've had to discuss all of these issues. I just would like to see how it's either increasing or decreasing, which I hope it's increasing. Doesn't have to be each month, but I would like to see how the car rental business is doing. Is it doing much better? Is it doing 10% better? Or could we get an idea, like on a quarterly basis that, hey, it's
It
increasing?
varies. I can
Mhm.
show you a report that I keep.
Ms. Fleur Bradley, when the numbers come in, I'm all for monthly. When you get the number every month, just shoot
I
it out to
actually
us.
don't get the number. Belinda gets the number. She sends me the report, and I basically keep a record of it. But I thought that was included in your agenda packages. I was under the assumption that it did.
No, not
I
unless not unless it's on the agenda as an item to discuss.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I
I
can.
know you were
include it.
giving us the info at points last year, I think.
Yeah.
But
So this is because I normally don't get the detail. The checks come directly to Belinda
mhm.
and I pay it out once I reconcile it back to the general ledger. And this is what we've been seeing. Hold on, let me expand this a little.
Yeah, I actually plotted these points just because I needed a visual of them, and it has been very
Up and down, up and
yeah
down.
inconsistent.
Yeah,
We just don't have a sense yet
yeah.
of where it's going.
Yeah, that's why it would be a good idea to just take a look at it just so we can get an idea.
Well,
But I can
ideally,
provide you, sorry, go ahead.
ideally, what we would like to have, or at least what I'd like to have, is a dashboard that showed all the critical revenue. You know, maybe not, 10, 12 points, I don't know, from different revenue sources. And it would include things like property taxes, revenue from selling power, et cetera, et cetera. And we could see what the overall revenue by area and whether there's a general trend going up. To the mayor's point of plotting individual points, it's very easy to see a correlation between curves that are going up generally. And in fact, I can even get data on aircraft operations. And I'm something I'd like to do is plot the number of aircraft operation at Hartsfield versus how much hotel revenue we're getting, et cetera, just out of curiosity. But that's going up.
It is. They're coming
So we
back.
had a meeting today with the general managers from the area hotels, and their occupancy is not where it was pre-COVID, but their occupancies are almost double what they were during the COVID era. So they can see the pendulum moving.
Great.
Yeah.
I just wish we would get that on the car rental. That kind of bounces around.
Yeah.
I had and this is anecdotal. I'm sorry. I usually come with a little bit more than anecdotes, but apparently there might be a bit of a rental car shortage going on because of the fact that
Correct.
yeah, okay. All right. So it's not just me with an anecdote.
No, that's seeing the same thing.
Mhm.
They sold off.
Yep.
The reason there's a shortage is they sold off a bunch of the rental cars,
Mhm.
and now it's coming back. And
Right.
in the auto industry, there happens to be a chip shortage.
That's right. They're actually suspending. They were suspending production in West Point.
Yeah, there's a number of automakers are suspending production. GM, for example. So if you're trying to get vehicles and the supply of vehicles is slowed down by a chip shortage, the rental car fees are going up and the booking times are lengthening.
Mhm. Yep. So we're going to have a bit of a glut. Supply is not meeting demand. But anyway. All right. So any other issues we need to address? I know there's some follow-up that we need in some of the police areas to get a little bit more information. And I'm certain that our staff will give us that information as soon as possible. Anything else that we need to address this evening?
I'm good.
Amen.
Good.
All right. It is 7:40. We are adjourned for the evening. I appreciate everyone being here and answering all those questions. And we will see you tomorrow evening for another budget session. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
And hopefully our last.
Hopefully our last. Yes.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.